Go and I'm gonna. All right, we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill. Who's sitting over there on the other side?
This is Larry. I'm his older brother, and welcome to our show, where this is the daily hot take, where a maggot and a libtard
And a
take
libtard.
her,
That's me.
yeah, take her around the politics, and we could. What we do is we bring a different perspective, in that he's really left. Oh, I don't say he's really left. I mean that he's on the left, and he knows the
I'm
left
on them.
perspective.
Mhm.
He's on the left, and I'm on the right. And so but we can actually talk to each other. There's no
Right.
dehumanization going on.
You're
So
right.
there,
The root
that's,
cause of all of this is literally before the 2024 election. Both of us asking one another, "Hey, am I even getting the right perspective of what
yep,
people on the left are thinking?" And both of us realizing through these discussions, oh, there are factions of the left and the right that I'm not considering when I'm using these blanket terms. We slowly reached the détente, if you will, in being able
yeah,
to discuss
where
the
we can at
politics.
least talk to each other.
Yes, and kind of using this lens of let's kind of look at all sorts of different angles of the
Yep.
political spectrum and see what
And
just different topics we're talking about.
we're also going to bring different perspectives, obviously, because we're coming from different places. But this isn't like a debate show. We're not doing Andrew Wilson versus the libtard, or Destiny or whatever. Our whole idea is just to kind of look at these events going on, and then I'll bring you what I'm thinking and what I think my cohorts are thinking. MAGA
Right.
isn't just,
People from your side of the aisle.
yeah,
Right.
and MAGA isn't just one thing. Steve Bannon MAGA or whatever. I can kind of, for someone from the left perspective, break up the different camps, and there are different camps. We're a coalition, well, rather
Right.
fractured currently, but we are a coalition.
Right.
And
And
I,
at the same no, no, go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to ask, do you see the left as a coalition army, or is it just one single army with different unit? The factions. Are there
Yeah, no,
factions? Do you see factions?
absolutely. And I think it's kind of funny that the more kind of stuck in an echo chamber you are, the more likely you are to probably see the other side as a cult with no dissent. And I think even just like discussing on our episode today, we're going to see all sorts of dissent. Like on the left, there's kind of a discussion of we can't even get to criticizing Trump on the Iran war because we're all discussing, can we include Hasan Piker as part of the discussion? So I mean, there's all sorts of dissent amongst like the lefties, the like illiberal part of the left wing of politics, and the shit libs such as myself. We were like, I don't like democracy. Still,
Yeah. You don't have to worry too much. There's a faction on the right who are making enough noise about their displeasure with the Iran war. But we'll get
mm-hmm,
into that because I believe that's also a segment we're going to cover that kind
exactly.
of covers that base as well. And then for fun, I think we're going to throw in a little bit of the chosen one. Yeah.
Chosen one, yes, exactly. Let's kind of start then. No, that this is perfect. So we'll start with what's been most hot on the left. Like I said, has been this discussion of platforming. Before we get into our takes, I kind of want to set up what I think is part of our job on this show is not just analyzing what is being discussed in these different branches, but also like how different shows are approaching their subject. Such as Pod Save America has, over the last couple of years, given like Joe Rogan a whole lot of shit for not really pushing back on his some of it gets more like serious claim. Like there's this big pushback of or like this criticism of no pushback, no pushback, no pushback, and then they give this absolute softball of a fucking interview with this
Yeah.
on Piker that's just like it's embarrassing, honestly. And this is someone you can attest, Larry. I told you early on, I like the Bond Dave bro. It's not like I agree with him on everything, but this was kind of an embarrassing display, in my opinion. I don't
Alrighty.
know. Did you get a chance to watch any of this before
Well,
we?
okay, so if we're going to put podcast bros into a faction, are
Mhm.
they establishment? This is how I kind of see the factions on the left. You have the activists, those are like the Hassan Pikers, or the more vocal. I guess they would be more influencer than activists, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say when you say activist, Hasan Piker, he's the
No,
guy
I
who's
agree.
known
I
for
agree. I
screaming
pull that
hate. Yeah,
back
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that would be like saying Tucker Carlson and he falls under influencer. He doesn't actually
More
do anything but
influencer.
talk.
Yeah, right. Talking head. I would say Pod Save Bros are amongst the
Their perspective
establishment
then.
establishment slash activists, right? Because they're very much since working their background. For anyone who doesn't know, they're like speech writers and shit for the Obama administration, and like worked for
Yes.
on campaigns previous to that. But that most of their focus post Trump and since launching Pod Save has been like organizing for different local campaigns and shit like that. Very much in line with the Democratic Party, right? So it's
Hmm.
kind of a weird mix of trying to push the party where they believe it needs to be, because they are those people who are kind of more likely to hear the opinions of regular ass Americans who are, like trying to help on
Let
the
me ask you a question.
hospital.
This will kind of tell me where their heads are at then.
Yeah, yeah.
When Biden melted down during the debate, were they among the save Biden right afterward, or were they among the we got to get rid of him and get someone new?
They were among the we got to get rid of him. And I'm
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the exact like number of like the clear feeling in their post debate analysis was this is not going to get the job done. And I know for a fact because I really like John Lovett on the Pod Save amongst the Pod Save bros, and I know he was very vocal even beforehand of like we need someone in the party to be more vocal about why is this the person that we're going with. And I know Puck Save even had what was his name? Philip, the guy who tried to primary Biden. What was his name?
Oh,
Howard
dude.
Howard
Yeah,
Phillips,
I
Howard
don't even
Phillips, something like
recall.
that.
Yes,
Dean Phillips. I
Dean
can't
Phillips
remember his
sounds
name.
right. It
And
sounds
they
right.
actually platformed such a man who was challenging the president in the primary, because I think Levitt was amongst those people who thought, well, I mean, it's worth having the discussion of why isn't this just because he's the incumbent? Is that it? Is that the only reason we're really going with this guy?
I remember that
And
being a
that,
question early on. Again,
yeah,
when we started talking about 22-ish, you were asking me about Matt Get. But they were getting rid of the speaker McCartney, and that
right,
was your question on the left to me. What my perspective of that was, how that was going inside the MAGA verse, and then my question to you was, are you guys going to get rid of Joe? That was my question over to you. From wanting to know what you were thinking, what your perspective on that was, because we were talking about it.
right, right, exactly.
So
If
that and
we would stick with him, and it wasn't until a train wreck unfolded that. But
yeah.
I do remember the pod say the post game analysis on that was like, how in the world do we get to something now? Like, what does
All
that
right.
look like?
Okay. It kind of gives me an idea of where they fit. So they weren't, although much of the party did turn on Biden right about the same time. I will say
Right.
this about the Democrat Party: when they turn, they will crush.
I would say that about either party. You know what I mean? Once they are finally done, like if the party itself, if the establishment is done with you, then it all
Yeah,
ends. And
but
that's
the GOP lost the power to do that when they couldn't snuff out Trump back in 2016. The GOP doesn't effectively. The most they'll do is take away their money. Now Trump can crush people, but Trump isn't really. I mean, Trump is an entity in of himself. Like once he's gone, I have no idea what the makeup of the GOP is going to even look like. It's going to be very interesting once. And for my liberal friends, I promise you, it's trolling. The whole third term thing, I'm telling you,
it. No,
total trolling.
I don't think he at his age would want to run again. I don't
Uh,
think he's actually looking for that.
the
But
biggest
yeah,
factor
no,
is the biggest factor is Melania. To be honest, Melania, they want he's got a home, he's got a big home. He's 80 something. He was going to be a billionaire,
right.
and it,
Yeah, no, I would think he'd want to go live his life at some fucking point. But
but he loves
okay.
trolling. Let's go. Let's go.
No, yeah, yeah. Let's see then. Again, my main criticism through this whole interview, because I guess I will get into this a little bit. In my opinion, I don't give a fuck about platforming Hasan Piker. My thing is like you could actually analyze what he's about and everything. And I don't. Everything about this interview reads like when an advisor tells a politician, "Hey, we'll just get you on someone who will get you some nice alcohol questions, lob a
Softball,
nice easy one."
softball. Yeah,
Oh, my
softball,
damn
softball.
softball interview. There, yeah, there's another clip from Destiny because he got all jealous that he's not included in this conversation. But he had to reach out to Tim Miller, and he was talking to Tim Miller about all this. Like it, yeah,
Yeah, I do want to know about all this drama. I haven't even seen this clip. I saw because I will tell you most of MAGA's not paying attention to this.
yeah,
The only
okay,
part of the only part of the Republican Party where I see bips of any Hasan Piker and I guess you call it versus establishment. I don't even know what the fight is
mhm,
even or what it's how it's manifested. I just know I see that it's the anti-Trump. And let me explain this to the left. There's a faction of the Republican Party that they're like the never Trumpers, but they didn't go full bulwark. They didn't go full, well, we hate Trump so much that we embrace everything, every Democratic plank on the platform. They
right,
kept their Republican principles and they hate Trump, but they're still Republicans.
hmm
So they,
right,
when they get what they want, they're happy, but most of the time they're bitching. So they're the ones who are watching this, and they're the faction that's paying attention to this drama. And I don't follow a whole lot of them. So again, you're bringing me brand new into all of this, just to let you know.
got you. I can give you at least my best understanding of what's led us to this point, which would be pretty brief. Is I know Hassan Piker on some stream said that he liked John Ossoff a lot because he's running for re-election. So someone from an organization, I keep bumping my mic, so excuse me, dear listeners. I know we have hundreds of listeners on the stream right now, and it just
I
makes me
know.
think, well, uh, but
Overnight success.
oh, and people are saying it's like the best, smart people. But they asked John Ossoff an organization called Third Way Politics, or just the Third Way. I'm trying to remember what it's called. But it's essentially a bunch of those never Trumpers that did leave, right? Who are trying
Mhm.
to ask the party, hey, are you going to are you going to cater to this guy? So they sent out like a questionnaire to a bunch of candidates who were running in the midterms to ask them, would you, if you got the candidacy or whatever, would you run with us on Piker as their purity test, if you would? Which I think is, just kind of classic fucked up politics. And it set it up in such a way where it's a platforming question rather than like a, hey, do you think this guy has like valid political views that are worth entertaining? Like, is this something worth bringing to the table? Rather than that, it's like, can you talk to the guy? It's that's where so many people on the left still are. Is it morally okay to have a conversation with someone you find to be repugnant even? Like
Well,
I think
baby steps, baby steps. I mean,
exactly.
baby steps. Yeah, because
Yes, there's
I'm all about you talk to whoever. Now, if you own the
yeah,
platform and you choose not to bring somebody on, hey,
absolutely.
it's your house. You can invite who you want in your house. With that said, no one else can tell you who to invite into your house. So
Right.
I don't think anyone's off limits. And again, that was the free speech thing. I can't believe that was a fixture of the right, in the election leading up to, the 24. That the left is so
That is
quick to stomp on free speech as we see it or as I see it.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Completely fair take from your perspective. Yeah. But this is so let's get into the clip here. It's John Favreau with the softballiest of softball kind of lead into what I think he was probably thinking was like the hard hitting part of this interview.
It because I think it connects to another comment of yours that's been circulating. This
I could make sure are you hearing that okay?
Yep, all good.
All right, cool. It's been 8 months, folks. Been 8 months.
one from January. Hamas is 1,000 times better than the fascist settler colonial apartheid state of Israel.
I stand by that.
Well, so I will say this is the one that bothered me most when I first heard it, and I remember having a reaction to it when I first saw it in January, because I think even if you believe what happened in Gaza is genocide and what's happening in the West Bank is apartheid, those are different claims from Hamas is 1,000 times better, because like Hamas is an organization that has massacred, raped, kidnapped civilians on October 7th. They've also been catastrophic for Palestinians by almost every measure. Governance, corruption, they made choices they knew would result in mass civilian death of their own people. So my question is, when you say Hamas is 1,000 times better, do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal? Like what?
I mean, it's all of the above. I do mean it. I think it's a rhetorical move because it frustrates a lot of people. I've also said I'm a harm reduction voter. I'm a lesser evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time because I'm looking at the situation as a paramilitary organization that has like a political party as well, a Politburo as well, that is entirely comprised not as an alien force, but of orphaned children that have, had their parents killed by an apartheid state that has been dominating the lives of Palestinians for 80 years at this point. And they've done a genocide at this point as well. But like it started off with the Nakba and has only evolved as technology has gotten better to become more heinous. And Gaza is this hermetically sealed area many people correctly point to as the world's largest open air prison before October 7. So my perspective on this has always been that I think that Hamas's tactics, which I oppose at times, right, or it's like internal governance issues, are secondary to this conversation because it's like placing a lot of emphasis on the Nat Turner rebellion, or instead of talking about the much larger, much more consequential, much bigger harm that chattel slavery was to black people, to like sell black people. And
so I think you're kind of getting it there, right? It's how he addresses kind of that. I get that is the first time you've seen that, then, Larry. Could you give me?
That's first time I've seen it.
Unfiltered.
Just how persuasive would you say this is among Democrats? And I know it's hard for you to put a percentage, or most, some, half. I think for the question, how much that would agree with that would agree. That would agree with
exactly.
Hasan.
That is a difficult question. It's very difficult.
It's very I know the establishment. I know your electeds would be pretty Jewish. Pretty pro-Israel, I should say.
At least a quarter to a third of people on the left, all people on the left.
Okay. From the outside, I would say it's 2/3. I would say it's 2/3. See, just from the outside, just my perspective. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying by what filters into my bubble, into my worldview, I would say 2/3 of Democrats would co-sign his statement.
That's fair. And in this political realignment happening in our mind, are you including those never Trumpers who left and joined the Democratic Party? Right?
They're weird. I don't know how they fit in, because remember when they were neoconservatives, when they were on our team before they flipped over, they were very pro-Israel. I mean, extremely pro-Israel. I mean, they were, that's why I haven't watched them recently. And now I'm going to dig in. I'm going to find out where they stand on those issues, because I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if they turned on that, because when I was a neoconservative, we were pro-Israel.
Right, exactly. Have you seen any of the Bulwark and their take on Tim Miller and?
I'm familiar with them because I know them from our team. Tim Miller was on Jeb Bush's campaign.
Yes.
So I mean,
Jeb guy. Jeb.
And you remember, I was against Trump in 2015. I was a Rubio guy. I was a Rubio man, and I've told the story in other streams we've done. But the only one time I ever wanted to physically punch you was when you were laughing your ass off because Donald Trump was going to become the Republican nominee. Excuse me. I found that offensive. By 2018, I'm mad. I'm declaring myself MAGA.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Right.
So I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent there. But my point. What point was I making? Oh yeah, I have not followed what they did since they've split off. So I know I'll get clips of them. They come into my worldview every now and then, or come into my media bubble or my reality distortion field, whatever
Right.
silo pseudonym you want to use. But I don't know where they're at right now. I know I see them a lot of times just taking takes, Democratic takes that they would not have done prior to Donald Trump ever.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And I think there's plenty of awareness amongst those folks of where it is they are making concessions, so to speak, in order to join the Democratic Party, and where it is they're still trying to move the Democratic Party.
No,
So
and
you should dig into that, but I
this is
do.
pure tinfoil. Be careful of who you let in your home. Because I'm telling you, they don't care about the issues themselves. They just want the control of power.
I get
Because
you. Oh, absolutely. And it's built into that neocon like philosophy of like we don't care.
we allied with the
Of,
fiscal. Prior to Donald Trump, the GOP was made of three stools. It was the neoconservative, the fiscal conservative, the laissez-faire, let business do whatever they want, blah blah blah, and then the social conservative. The social conservative was our they were our useful idiots. You throw them bones. You throw them bones, but they were just voters. They were our useful idiots. And I see them moving into the Democratic Party, and I know they want to use the fresh and young enthusiasm, the Marxist enthusiasm. They don't care about the ideology. They're the vanguard, and they just need their useful idiots. So just be careful who you invite into your home when you watch the Bulwark and that. Just as a former neoconservative.
So would you say that I shouldn't platform the Bulwark in my mind?
Oh no, you platform at all times. Platform everybody. Listen to everybody. Never shutting anybody out.
Question everything, Mulder,
And
or
question,
whichever one
question
wasn't
everything.
believing.
You
Yeah, that's
listen to
right.
everybody. You know where they're from. Now, if they're advocating violence, there are limits to speech. You know, the basic human decency limits to speech. But otherwise, no, I want to listen to everybody.
See, and
I'm
that's
listening to
interesting. So, what if someone were to tell you that they were okay with like the violence done in like South Africa when Nelson Mandela was in prison? People were doing awful things like necklacing people, and like they would put a tire around their neck and set it on fire. If
Yep.
someone were like kind of excusing that behavior and saying, well, as long as you're at the bottom of a power imbalance,
You must
people are going to
challenge
do
them.
that kind of thing. You must use a little violence
If
sometimes.
if you bury it, hide it, it'll find an audience. It's just an audience that'll never be challenged because you won't challenge it.
What
In
if
a
you did
way,
it on this interview? Like that's the
yeah.
thing is, John Favreau gave this motherfucker like 2 or 3 out. Was it just like a rhetorical thing? Give me some sort of reason to still like you, Hassan. And he's like, no, I totally mean it. 10 toes down. This is my thing.
Hasan is built of the same stuff as Trump. He doesn't apologize.
Right. He's a carbon copy. Absolutely. Yeah. Same
Yeah.
with like a Nick Fuentes doesn't like. He never admits defeat. He just says something opposite of what he said before with full confidence. Like that. It's not about admitting defeat.
Or distract, or just say something completely different, or contradict.
And when you get back to it, you'll contradict. Exactly, 1000%. Yeah, yeah. He's the same kind of guy. But I don't want to spend too long on any one clip. You definitely, Larry, should listen to this
my
whole
only thing.
interview.
What do you think of the purpose of the interview was? Just to break that platforming thing? To say it's okay for Democrats to platform our more extreme left? I mean, it isn't like Hassan doesn't have an audience.
I think it's in addition to that, like it's breaking the platforming question by interviewing him head on. And I think to the thing I was speaking to earlier where Destiny was jealous, and he was talking to Tim Miller about like there are 4 different kinds of interviews. One of them is pretty much the softest of softball questions, but you make it look like you're really challenging that person. That's what this is. It's just a sanitizing thing. And I think it's probably because John, here's my honest take. John will publicly say, well, I never really know. And this is true. He probably doesn't know the exact depth of how illiberal Hassan's views get, but he just cares about the audience. Just reach the audience and try to get them into the voting booth. That's all. cynically,
but
that's what I think.
how many of Hassan's voters that act or audience that actually votes are going to vote anything other than blue? You see what I'm saying? I don't see any new
Right.
people
To
you're
me,
bringing into the tent.
it's not about bringing new people. My thing that I'm guessing Favreau is thinking is turning low propensity voters into regular, like even mid-term. Like he wants to turn people who want to get revolution into incremental change voters. I think that's his goal. He thinks I'm not going to be shaped by them. I'm going to shape that movement into what I want. And
So
I
how do
don't
you feel
think
that's going to play outside of, New York, LA, Portland, Austin? How do you think it's going to play in Wisconsin? Well, Wisconsin's pretty radical, so it might play well in lots of Wisconsin. Of all the swing states, yeah, that's probably the not radical, but the more left leaning.
Yeah, I
Is the
get what
most
you mean.
left
Yeah,
leaning of
exactly.
all. Yeah.
Especially as of recently.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
very,
think
very
it's
poorly.
like Pennsylvania, which is turning redder, or North Carolina, which is turning redder. If you're gonna
Yeah.
elevate a Marxist, can we call him a Marxist? Does he call himself a Marxist?
I think he would probably describe himself as a Marxist. I know Mao Zedong is definitely like he's bigger on
I
China
know he's
than
over in China and Cuba. I mean
yeah.
you're vacationing and
And that's
you know.
not like a inflammatory. He would openly say Mao Zedong is one of the best world leaders ever. When asked on the with Constantine trigonometry,
Mhm.
like a good example
I
of a
did not
modern
watch that
socialist
episode.
country. And I want to go back just because I've seen this clip when asked for a good example of a modern socialist country, instead of like one of the Nordic models, he went with modern day China because of high speed rail and like green initiative. And it's like, yeah, when you have a fucking uniparty, you can get all sorts of great shit done, can't
With
you?
the capitalist economy.
Right. And yeah, right. When you capitalism too, isn't that fucking crazy? But yeah, no, I just more than being dangerous, he's stupid. That's what I don't think they're understanding about it. The guy is known for screaming his thoughts 8 hours a day while he fucking eats ramen or whatever the fuck. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Except
and
for
shocking
looking
his
at their
dog.
audience, it's
That
like
got into
this
my bubble.
thing. Hmm?
Shocking his dog. That got into my bubble.
Oh yeah, right. Shocking his dog as well. But I don't know outside of honestly kind of a weird, opportunistic, almost cynical thing of taking this audience and I can use it for good. Where I feel like most of those people, slightly to your point, it's not that you're hurting those people out; it's that you could get those people excited and engaged without ever going on with on show. If you just
Interesting.
create a good argument through your policies and candidates, like that's the thing. It's the same with like a Nick Fuentes. There's no danger, in my opinion, on going on a Nick Fuentes show. It's
Mhm.
what do you get out of that? Is that juice worth the squeeze? What are we doing here? It's just a dude who fucking blow the apes and yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure he's a Nazi, but Stalin had so much aura or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he's an entertainer in a way. Yeah, he's not. He
He's
doesn't
not
do anything.
like it's views. It's not. He's not doing anything. Right. He goes to Cuba and talks about like the plight of the people, and he stays at the one fucking hotel with electricity on the goddamn island or whatever the fuck it is. Like the
Yeah, I
dude,
remember.
he's
Kind
not
of.
real. He's not serious. This is not a serious figure. But I would watch that interview if I were you because it is a clinic on softball, old school media
Yeah,
questions. And
which isn't a
I'm kind of
bad thing
embarrassed.
because a lot of interviews do it. Joe Rogan was the example you pulled up earlier. But like I said, Joe Rogan's going to be amenable to whoever's sitting in the chair across from him.
Yeah,
Or
it's the Joe Rogan experience, not God Save America. Like you
yeah,
are a political platform. To me, you have a higher responsibility than Joe Rogan, and you drop the ball. Probably just as bad, if not worse, than Rogan would have on an interview like that.
uh,
Like I feel like
that's
Rogan would have
interesting.
pushed back on this shit more
We'll have to
than
go. We'll have to peek into the world of the lefty influencer more and more because I don't watch them on the regular. So yeah, the more clips you bring, it'll be interesting to see them from my. When I do see them, usually it's in like debate formats, and like I watched Destiny versus Constantine Christian or the trigonometry guy,
yeah,
and
right.
or Andrew Wilson versus one of them, that kind of thing. But I've never watched them just on their own platform doing their shtick.
Right. How about, okay, for our next topic then, you want to bring up, you got something on Jesus there, possibly?
Oh yeah, the chosen one. I don't have very much. I mean, there were a lot of memes floating around. Okay,
Yeah, just
go ahead and
on the screen.
first let's start by setting the the background.
Yeah. Set me
Uh,
up if you could. It's kind of your thing.
can you throw up the image? Do you have just the image to begin with, or I can send it to you?
I don't. I could grab it in a second while you're talking.
All right. So last night, I don't know, it was shortly before midnight, so I ended up crashing out about midnight. Trump launched another meme that's just the worst thing ever. Now, mind you, this is about a week after he was going to genocide a civilization. This is roughly, I don't know, a month and a half since he did Obama as a monkey. So I mean, this is kind of a regular thing. Every 2 weeks, you almost set your clock by it. Trump's gonna set somebody on fire by something he put out. So anyway, the image was interpreted. Let's go ahead and take a look at it when it comes up. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Yeah, here's the image. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
this
that's the best I could get quickly. But
now in context, he's also battling the Pope right now. You've seen that information.
As the president does.
Yeah, well, there's some backstory there. David Axelrod was in Rome a couple of days ago, maybe about a week at this point. I'd have to look it up on Twitter to see exactly when he was there. But he had audience with the Pope for about an hour and a half. And then the popes or the church, I don't know if the Pope directly, but the church all went on 60 Minutes and started bashing Trump about immigration. And then the Pope launched his attack on Trump. I think over the war. I think that was his initial attack.
Right.
And then
criticism of the war. I would.
Yeah, and then Trump.
But fair. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Trump leaves no attack, unrequited. The nature of the man. So he was fighting back. So yeah, that was already fresh. That's real fresh because that went down Saturday, Sunday, and then he drops this right before midnight. And even I'm not sure much of your audience. There's an influencer on the right is D-Day Cobra. He's mostly known as Jeremy for pop culture. He hangs out with Nerdrotic, and there's a whole group on the right that does in the old days they call them SJWs, anti-woke content. You bash on Starfleet Academy, you bash on and they do a pretty good job of it. I consume a lot of that content, I have to admit. I'm pretty anti-woke, as you would call it, but now that's kind of passe. But anyway, I divert.
For the record, my pronouns are he, him, and I think that says everything about where I stand on the matter, but go ahead.
I take one of the more exotic ones. I go with like Zer or Zerg. Zerg would be kind of cool. What was the old?
I'm not
the old 2014 joke was helicopter attack helicopter.
Right. Tactical I forget the
helicopter. The old Gamergate era.
Right.
Gamergate era.
No, it's definitely it's an old code, but it checks out, sir.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we still have some of that pop culture. That's the other thing is we're no longer in a monoculture where we can, the reference. I wonder how memes are going to work in the future when everyone is so atomized into their subgenre. They're only paying attention to their one tiny. We are way off topic. We got Donald Trump looking like Jesus, and we're talking about monoculture versus the microculture.
We're talking about memes. We're talking about communicating through the means of memes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, hit it.
All right. Anyway, the history of this meme is, and I'm going to tell you, as a MAGA guy, I was not offended when I saw it. I just assumed he was boomer. I didn't clutch my pearls. I am a faithful Catholic. I don't go to church on the regular. I have my own issues with the Pope. But I mean, whatever. I'll take notice when someone gets edgy and does a meme of Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? This is my South Park thing. Then I'm gonna go, oh damn. I'm gonna do the okay, snap. You know that.
Right. Yeah. Like lean in. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Someone got fucking real edgy. They'll probably have their house blown up for it, but then someone got fucking real edgy.
I think what you're revealing is what our thumbnail for our second spring back might include is a little Muhammad action on there.
Wow. Yeah, dude, you might catch fire and then we'll get doxxed and then get blown up.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah. But my point being, I saw it and I just thought it was boomer slop.
Mhm.
And it was the history of this meme. I don't remember this particular one, but we have memes. We have corny memes that go around Magaville like this all the time. And this was about February. I wish I could pull up the original.
I know. Yeah. Someone had said that there was an original version of it.
Yeah, and like a boomer, he pulled the image out without the text because it was like Donald Trump is healing the nation. God save Donald Trump or something like that.
Yeah. He's like, cut
And
that shit out.
yeah. But he just pulled the image because he's like, I like that picture. He put it, he popped it out there. I love how everyone thinks that Donald Trump is sitting around with a Pixar, or a, AI creator
He's got
pumping
that
out.
AI agent. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. To get all these images.
Bomb those Dro or bomb that port. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I got to make this meme up. He's just pulling shit he sees offline.
Right.
But anyway, I will say most of the MAGA base didn't care. And I'm going to break up the current coalition into four categories. You have establishment Republicans. Establishment Republicans, they were offended because they have to be because everything is politically correct.
Who would be?
Oh,
Give me a couple just examples.
Well, that would be in the politician class, the Fox level reporter, Fox level media. They have to be offended because that's what common polite society says they have to do. Yeah, and then you have like I said, the anti-Trumpers. They're the never Trumpers that couldn't go full never Trump. They hate his guts. They can't. They're waiting for the day that Trumpism is over and they're going to take back the party and it's Jeb Bush days all over again. He's waiting in the wings. Ron DeSantis is holding the Katra. That's a Star Trek reference to where Bones held the I just did Star Trek as a first contact recently, and he holds the soul. Have you never seen this?
No.
Bones holds the soul of Spock until they go get Spock's body and they can put his Katra back into Spock.
Okay.
So right now you have DeSantis kind of holding the Katra of Jeb Bushism, of Bushism, Republicanism. And then you have MAGA. That's just us blue collar dummies, garbage, deplorables, just the regular peeps. And that's who made this meme, by the way. This was not an influencer or a big meme maker. It was just some random Trump devotee. He just likes to make Trump art, loves Trump, and made Trump art. He believes in Trump. And then the last one is the American Firsters. That would be Tucker Carlson, and I want to say anti-Israeli because that's really the theme they've been hitting lately.
Right. Yeah, the Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, would she be in that group now?
Yeah, Grandma Groiper.
Grandma Draper?
Grandma Groiper.
I've not heard that one from my side of the aisle. That's fun.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do the whole anti-Semite thing because that's the same thing as calling someone a racist, a bigot. It's islamophobism. And I don't want to do the label. It's an ad hominem attack. But the Israel colors the whole entire world for them. That's the prism, the filter that they see everything, for them, they're now. Oh, and then there's a small inside of MAGA. You have the tradition, the trad Catholics. The trad Catholics like the old Latin Mass. Everything after Vatican II sucks. The popes might be anti-popes. They're aping the church. I mean, there's a whole. I got into that for a little bit, because it was appealing.
Would they be under establishment the trad?
No, they're MAGA. They love Trump. It's just he's been kind of attacking that wing lately. General
Okay, well, wait. I'm sorry because I've lost track of the group legitimately.
establishment,
Republicans
anti-Trump.
that didn't
They're
leave.
non-politicians. They're regular people, mostly like NRO writers,
National Review or whatever.
National Review Online, and publications like that. Then you have MAGA, and I would say good publications for that would be like the Federalist or I'm not sure if you're familiar with that publication. Victor David Hanson is he's a good talking head that represents that MAGA base. And then the last one would be the America Firsters. Marjorie Taylor, the Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Tucker Carlson, Kelly, Candace Owens. All right. So I'm going to break up MAGA into those four. There are other subsets. We are a coalition. We're not a collective. A collective is kind of, from my point of view, a collective is a leftist thing. You guys are good about, working, like a collective. We fight about every little fucking thing all the fucking time. I mean, even before Trump took office, they were fighting over H-1B visas. So, the group.
I will remind you, the first segment of our show was the left side of the aisle arguing over a streamer. Can we talk to a streamer? But yeah, go ahead. There's stupid arguments on both sides.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. That is. But is that a new kind of thing? I'm trying to think of where that happened, where even that conversation would have been brief. It just wouldn't have happened. In other words, Hasan wouldn't have, although he was elevated by the New York Times a couple of times. Didn't he have the article a while back about him? He had the MAGA body, the progressive mind in the MAGA body or something.
Like I don't think there's one event that has attributed to Hasan's popularity. Like I don't think that's how it works for a lot of these people.
That's just how he was brought to be in the mainstream.
I know he was because he's
he's been a popular streamer. Yeah, he's been a popular streamer.
So Young Turks, that is like his start is I think he would do like bits like bumpers before commercials of like skits.
Right. I'll get back to let me get back on the topic then. We'll go ahead and pull back because we kind of covered that area. But as far as the picture, I think this is all going to be. I truly think this is all going to be forgotten in a couple of days. So it's like a real hot topic right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I voted for Trump twice. I like a lot of the things he's doing, but this is it. This is one step too far. This is it. I didn't vote for this. And that what every liberal wants to hear from a maggot screaming, I didn't vote for this. Yeah, I voted for this. I don't care. I like trolls. I've been on the internet my entire life. Well, my entire adult life. I'm okay with trolls. I've existed among them. I recognize them. We have a troll in chief.
You did vote for this.
I did vote for this.
How dare you?
All the pretty words with no substance was more frustrating to me than a man who has no filter. I find that much more appealing. Even if you get the batshit stuff leaks out, I'd rather have no filter than it's been filtered through 3 different spokespeople before getting to you. That era of politics is done, and I'm glad. And I will forever thank Trump for that. We'll see what can of worms it opens up, but yeah, we were killing ourselves in the managed decline with everybody just being so proper and nothing substantive being done, in my opinion. All right, where are we heading to next?
The last clip here, we have got Megyn Kelly asking, I forget the guest name, was JD Vance the actual name of the clip? Was JD Vance set up to fail in peace negotiations with Iran?
I do not know who this man is.
Yeah, I'm not.
But go. I don't know who he is.
Really just the beginning, I want to set up for our discussion. Did I have anything else about the? Before I do this, I was like, oh shit, did I have anything about the top picture? I think I did, and I forgot. But we'll come back to it if we have like a closing thought. Let's go.
That's cool.
Picked to go try to negotiate a peace deal that you and many others believe had zero chance of actually being agreed upon?
Yeah, I think this is partly to diminish the vice president in the eyes of the world. There's a running joke that whenever he meets with the Pope, there's memes about that. There's these memes about how he's basically has the opposite of the Midas touch, and so this is another thing to add to that growing set of memes. It's unfair, I think, what they're saying about him, but ultimately, perception is power. President and his team understand that, and I think there are people around the president, maybe the president himself, who didn't like that the vice president was clearly not on board. I mean, the vice president was dutiful. He was doing what the president asked. He wasn't publicly disagreeing, etc. He was very, he was very almost obsequious to the president in public when it came to the matter of the Iran war, which we all know he did not support. So I think that basically the president and his team did to JD Vance that which President Bush and George W. Bush and his team did to Colin Powell when they made Colin Powell, who did not support the Iraq war, go before the UN and make the case for the Iraq war. And that has forever been, just ask retired Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, who worked as the chief of staff for Powell. That was something that dogged Powell for the remainder of his life, was the fact that he...
Or when Joe Biden took Kamala Harris and made her the border czar.
That's right. Yes. And so this is a common tactic.
Because Brendan, what was it?
Okay. First of all, can you do me a favor and give me that fella's name again? I want to look up who he is. I need to see what his worldview is real quick.
Yeah. Brandon Weichert. That's Weichert.
All right. Let me go ahead and pull this guy up.
Nat Set Talk is a show on Rumble, but it doesn't say anything about where he's from beforehand in the details or anything.
And then we'll talk about the context of what he's talking about. I mean, if he's coming from let's see, he says he's with the National Interest. I'm not even familiar with that publication. Senior national security editor at the National Interest. And he discusses. I'm trying to see what his background is, where he came from.
Right, kind of what.
But anyway, I'm gonna do research and find out who this guy is and what he thinks. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna tell you from my view, a MAGA view. I would say a reasonable MAGA view, not an influencer point of view, because I think a lot of influencers probably have that opinion. I think they sent JD over there because he's the face of the America First faction that I spoke of. He's the face of the anti-Israel, anti-war, and if he couldn't get a deal, then no one can get a deal. In other words, he's the most amenable to try to get this thing ended than anyone else in the administration. That's why. Now he is right. It was set up to. Trump didn't want the deal. I don't think he wanted the deal. I think he wants to lighter. As soon as you get the Ford in theater and you get the boxers showing up too with another couple thousand Marines, and once he gets those in theater, then he's going to either take Hard Island. I don't know what they're going to do. Who knows? Use the discombobulator on somebody. But he isn't wrong. I don't think he's wrong that they were set up to fail. But I don't think JD was set up to take an L.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and I think
when you set it up that way, that the talks weren't necessarily.
JD even showed up on Fox News tonight. I saw clips of it, and he's as pro-Trump as ever. And he was, they weren't willing to go there or whatever, but we knew they weren't ever going to go there anyway. I personally believe no evidence, and I don't have any ears. I'm trying to get away from speculating too much. Just working off the evidence that's before me, but I do not believe that he was. He didn't take an L. I will say that his stock has been rising, but JD is still in the lead for 28.
Got you.
This didn't hurt him. He didn't take any hits.
What I think fueled a lot of it is the juxtaposition, especially of Rubio getting to go to USC the same weekend or whatever. That's, I think, what makes people go, oh, is it like he made JD go, oh, if you don't want the war, then you go solve it, bitch. but I think people on the left also always want to look for figures that aren't there, or then when figures are there, they want to pretend no, this isn't a real thing. It'll all go back to normal in a week. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think it people are always looking for something in the tea leaves of what can I
Everyone
fix
does.
in the future.
Everyone does. Everyone's got to have
Right.
a hot take. That's why we're here on this show taking apart their hot takes. And that's what I've got learning about. See, and I used to say this in the early internet when before the worst thing about the internet is it taught people that their opinions mean something. So everyone's got to put their opinion out there. Your
Right.
opinion,
Just because you can have an opinion doesn't mean you have to
and
have
broadcast
it.
it.
You have it. Yeah, and broadcast it out. Yeah, much less broadcast it out. Exactly. But yeah, people
When I was
feel
growing up
entitled to.
when I was growing up in the 70s, our saying was opinions were like assholes. Everyone's
Right,
got
everyone's got them. But that's it.
now
Kind
it's
of ties
everyone's got them, and now
into
you show them.
yeah. Oh, you have to. Yeah, look at my asshole.
Look at my asshole.
But it ties into part of what I think has led to the degradation of what we look at as news or what's worth having an opinion on is again, since the telegraph and the addition of photography to our newspapers, we can suddenly put news in front of you that doesn't actually relate to your everyday life. And we're so far past when that was introduced that we're so inundated with everything that has so little to do with our everyday lives, and we're kind of told that that's what is most important. If you don't have an opinion on Israel, you're kind of a piece of shit human being, where you have to aside, so you're okay with that kind of thing. Like people feel the need to have the opinion because of how much hostility will come your way if you don't come down on the right side of this shit. That's
It's funny you bring up Israel. I was the most don't care person about Israel, and I still am to a large extent.
mm,
I don't care. I was even when I was a neoconservative, and it was one of our planks, if you want to call it that, support of Israel. The only thing I like about Israel is it can be looked at as an unsinkable aircraft carrier. In other words, it's the one base in the region
mm,
that's guaranteed that the United States can use to you know to show force in the region. And now that we're using a lot of the Mideastern countries like Dubai or I'm sorry, not Dubai, but Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. We have bases, Qatar. It's less needed. Now I'm just kind of pro-Israel because whatever. I don't care. I don't even know if I'm pro-Israel per se.
Is
I
it
don't
not
care.
because they're a beacon of democracy in the Middle East? You say it
When I
like
was a
they're just
when I was a
a base.
neoconservative,
They're just a
I would have said
military
that.
base. Yeah.
I would have said that. And you
Would
asked
it?
me that question in 2014, 2015. That's
Yeah.
exactly what my response would have been.
Would it
They are
have
the only
been?
democracy in the Middle East.
But would it have really been because they're a forward military base in the Middle East, or because of democracy? Was it always because, like, I
Oh
guess,
no, I'd have given you that idealistic noble lie. I would have
yeah.
given you that. Just like I believed in we'll just plant Jeffersonian democracy and all these
Mm,
foreign countries that have no clue how to. It's not in their culture. They don't have Jeffersons. They're not going to be able to take Jefferson. But I believed in it. I thought we were going to, there was that
yeah.
last quarter of the world that was uncivilized, and I had to bring in. And as a neo, it was the American Empire's job was to bring them into the civilized world, the international, what do they call it, rules based order.
Mm, how noble.
How no, very noble.
Mm.
That was my worldview. And then Donald Trump smashed it apart like and he was right. And he was right.
That is fun. Hmm. Okay, so do we have any final thoughts? I'm trying to think.
Um oh Swalwell. We gotta cover Swalwell for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, hit me with some thought. Okay, there's been a whole fallout. This will definitely be a subject tomorrow. But yeah, let's there have been Twitter accounts that One of them tweeted out, "If you know anything about being abused by Swalwell, let me know." And then someone else in the Democratic Socialist said that they were clout chasing, and then the other person was like, "A victim told me to do it." Whole bunch of fallout and bullshit from
Oh,
that.
I did not hear about any of
Good
that.
fun drama.
Okay,
Good
now you
fun
do know.
drama. Yeah, I'll hit you with these. Yeah, hit me.
Okay, you do know he officially said he's going to resign. He has resigned. He will resign. I don't even know the latest on that. I don't know if he's out though. He's
Yeah, from
leaving.
what I've heard, it's only dropped out of the race, not resigned from the seat. But
No, he sent out a
has
tweet.
he resigned? I don't know. Yeah, and that
Yeah, that was tonight, I think. Let me I'll read it word for word. Give me a moment.
Yeah, so, this is breaking news. This is amazing.
It's a couple hours old, but
it's breaking for me, Larry. Okay.
Okay, it's breaking for you. Here we go. Yeah, that's one thing. It's funny.
This morning
a lot of the content creators over on X are mad because guess what? I'm looking for just his tweet. 1 second. And he did tweet out, but his statement wasn't very clear. But the content creator, they're going to take away breaking. If you use breaking, somehow the algo is going to punish you for it.
Yes, I did something about that.
And all the bunch of the creators are real mad about it.
Does it do it if you just take the E out? If you make it TRAK, you know?
I don't know. as we become content creators, I guess I'll have to learn the ins and outs of that kind of stuff. But as of now, I don't know.
Shattering news, earth rumbling news. You know, it doesn't have to be breaking. There are all sorts of different, was that adverb? Doesn't adjective or an adverb? Breaking, it's an active.
Breaking. I think it's just a statement.
Active verb. It's not even
boy, you're taking me to English class. You know how old I am? Well, and I slept through him the first time around.
Right.
Although I did have a hot English teacher. Maybe I was distracted. But anyway, and I'm not talking about the priest I had the year later. We won't talk about that. But anyway, and I am deep. This is his statement. Swalwell's statement on congressional resignation. I am deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for the mistakes and judgment I've made in my past. I will fight the serious false accusations made against me. However, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make. I am aware of the efforts to bring immediate expulsion vote against me and other members. Expelling anyone in Congress without due process within days of an allegation being made is wrong. But it's also wrong for my constituents to have me distracted from my duties. Therefore, I plan to resign my seats in Congress. I will work with my staff in the coming days to ensure they're able in my absence to serve the good people of the 14th Congressional District. That was put out about 4:30 this afternoon, Central Time. Now, here's the breaking part. The guy who put out the video of him with the hoe.
Yeah.
Well, he said he's now going after Rokana. He said he's got shit on Rokana.
Rokana.
Yes. And let me share this screen. I will share the tweet. Give me a moment, please.
Yeah, you're good.
Because I have to remember.
I control something.
Yep. Just give me one. Yep, you're still with me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want to give people dead air. But give me one moment.
Good. I'm not using this opportunity to make sure that this thing on my headphones does not mute me. But I'm also looking at my microphone feedback bubble thing, and I can tell it's picking me up. So.
Here's the latest. New insider source. Senator Ruben Gallego participated with disgraced Representative Eric Swalwell. This is an hour ago. Eric Swalwell in the sex worker film. The full film could leak tomorrow.
Who was it? So someone was tweeting out yesterday that Gallegos was next in the barrel. It was essentially like a Roger Stone, you're next in the barrel kind of tweet. So okay, that adds up. It's coming out already. Oh.
Okay, now Martin Shkreli, and this is the guy who went to jail for. Golly, what did he go to jail for? Anyway.
He was the pharmaceutical bro, Martin Shkreli.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the same.
He's the one who released the video.
Martin Shkreli was in the hotel room? When did the
No,
hotel
no,
room
he got his hands on it.
He just got the video.
He got the video. Right? He's the one who released it. Let me double check. Let me make sure I don't. Yeah, let me double check, and I need to make sure there's a. Okay, I want to verify that.
On the fly, look at this.
Yeah, he's the one who released the video initially.
I didn't realize it was him who released it initially.
Okay, anyway, so now he comes back tonight, and this is what he says tonight. I don't want to pull it up to have my personal information, and I don't want it that broadcast right now.
Yeah, you're good.
So I'll go ahead and read it. And this was put out at 6:03 p.m. today. It says, to all house stems, this can happen to you easily. I'm going to tell you one time, don't fuck with me. Rokana, you fucked with me. And that's against the aforementioned rules, so you next. Everyone has a secret, a vice, a mistake, but not everyone has a determined enemy. Tread carefully. So he's targeting Rokana. We'll see if that's bluster, because again, I'm so used to people on the internet, they're going to flame somebody, and then they don't put up.
And then nothing happens. Yeah.
And
right.
And then so we'll see if anything comes to that. By tomorrow night, though, we might have a spicy show if we got another couple. Oh, and
Right?
the Texas congressman that abused his staffer till she burned herself, the Republican, he gone too.
Don't even know about this.
Oh yeah, he was having her he sexually abused her. I don't know the details. Again, I'm not real good at following this kind of stuff.
Well, maybe
I have no idea why. Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow all this salacious crap, and I really should because a lot of people do. But anyway, I don't know the details.
Send me
I do know she killed herself. She what self-deleted. I'm trying to remember the YouTube lingo because we gotta get good about not saying the words you're not allowed to say.
Eventually, not now, but eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, by setting herself on fire.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
And so it was evil. That's some evil shit. That's evil. So he should be gone too. Mm-hmm. Now he's quitting. Swalwell's quitting, and there are two more baddies that are on the list that they're expected. But apparently, everyone's expecting tomorrow to be the floodgates, where it's raining congressmen.
But I guess just how many of them have been in the House thus far? All of them, right?
Thus far, Diego, if this is true about this new one coming out, he'd be the first senator.
Okay.
But again, this is going to happen. But until it happens, until it happens, it's internet bullshit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, especially if it's coming from the person who tweeted out the other video, it seems to give it a little. It's worth watching that part of the feed. You know what I mean?
It has my attention, but if this falls through and it turns into bullshit, because Santos on our side. You remember Santos, the first openly lying congressman? I forget how they labeled him. He was a New York guy who got expelled or expunged or whatever they call.
Yeah, he shows up on Tim Pool's podcast a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he during the election he kept saying he was going to drop this bomb and drop that bomb, and he never delivered nothing. So anything that comes out of that dude's mouth online, I'll see it pass every now and then. Well, Santos says this is going to happen. Disregard. He's trash. Yeah, he's just all about hype and engagement or whatever.
That sounds about right. Mm. All right. I think that's all we got for today. These are the days of our lives, if you will.
These are the days of our lives.
Around 8 o'clock Central, 8 to 9 o'clock Central.
That'll work.
Night, Monday through Friday, leading up to Monday through Thursday, we'll just be hitting these topics. But Friday, we might be deep diving on something and then ranking some of these motherfuckers on.
We'll do something fun.
Power rank. Super lit or whatever the fuck we're gonna call it.
Yep. We'll do something fun.
For that motherfucker.
One of the rumors is that They got Swalwell out of the way, so can't again. There's a rumor that Kamala can change her mind and go for governor instead of president. We'll see if that comes to pass.
Ooh, yeah, we'll see if that goes.
I think it's late for her to jump in. Plus, I think she's got I think she's got the Democratic nomination if she wants it. No one else
You
gets to
think
the
so?
black vote. No one else gets
Man,
to the
that
black vote.
if it isn't in these first couple weeks, by May or June, we'll need to do a presidential power ranking as well, not just
Yeah,
this, kind of influencer
it
talking head
it
kind of thing.
well, it's next summer. Next summer they'll start. That's when they start showing up to the Iowa. Well, Iowa's not as big for the Democrats because South Carolina's your first state now.
Right? Yeah, South Carolina's the first one, but it'll
Uh,
like I think symbolically, going to the Iowa State Fair is always going to be a really big
is the
thing.
kickoff. Is the
Yeah,
kickoff.
it's still going to be
All
a
right.
big. Yep. But yeah, no, we'll be hitting you tomorrow with some more takes. And yeah, be good to each other, y'all.
Hell yeah. Good night.